Hey now! What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I'm here to talk about and review X2, X-Men United. This is a 2003 film that is once again directed by Bryan Singer. It's obviously a sequel to X-Men. And the plot is we see the X-Men, the mutants that we all know and love. After the events of the first movie, they've dealt with Magneto. He's locked up in a plastic prison, so everything should be fine, right? Well, this time we have a human, William Stryker, who has shown up, and he hates mutants. He, in fact, has his own scheme, his own ploy to convince the president to let him take the fight to mutants and go after them and basically kill all mutants. So the X-Men have to combat that. Now, what I think of X2, X-Men United is I love this movie. I do. And I gotta be honest, for so many years, this was my favorite X-Men movie. And rewatching it now, I still think it's my favorite X-Men movie. It's pretty close between this and another X-Men movie, but rewatching it now, this is pretty damn great. It is for so many reasons. First, that opening scene of Nightcrawler at the White House doing everything that he's doing, just bamfing, which is something that I would always read in the comics and I would never quite be able to picture what that would look like or sound like in a movie. Somehow they mastered it in disappearing and taking out all of the guards, and once he gets to the Oval Office and he's just going through everybody in a circle. It's one of the best opening scenes for any superhero movie ever. You could tell that they've ramped it up a notch since the first film. And that's where we meet the main villain. Like I said, William Stryker is played by Brian Cox. Great actor. Really is just something about him, even though he's a human, even though technically he should not be able to pose a threat to people with powers, he somehow gives off that vibe. He was able to manipulate Nightcrawler to get him to launch this attack on the White House, so to get the president to approve him going to the X-Mansion. And I have 4 or 5 best favorite moments in this movie alone, so it's hard to pick my favorite, but one of them is when those soldiers go to the mansion trying to round up as many mutants as they can. Wolverine, once again played by Hugh Jackman, he has a great moment where he just goes apeshit. He just sinks his claws into several soldiers, like the one guy at the fridge where he rams into his chest, yelling and screaming and full of rage. Like, this is as good as he was in the first movie, just character-wise and getting to know him. This was like, this is what Wolverine is all about. If you piss him off, if you get him angry, he can get to that extra next level. Sure, there's no blood. Sure, it's PG-13, but it's as good as you can get. Jean Grey, Famke Janssen, who she has some feelings now for Wolverine. The first movie was a little more innocent and probably just like, oh, they both find each other attractive, but she's with Scott. She's married to Scott. This movie, they basically say, fuck you, Scott Summers. Yeah, Cyclops, we don't need you here. James Marsden gets done so wrong in this movie. Me trying to figure out if the first movie does him justice, there's no question with this one that he does not get justice. And it's really the only negative thing that it's hard. I know, it's hard to introduce more mutant characters or introduce another villain like this and still try to give all these other characters enough to do, enough screen time. I'm more upset by when Cyclops is with Professor X going to visit Magneto at the prison, that he has one scene where he gets to beat up a couple of guards and it's kind of cool, but then Lady Deathstrike comes in and takes him out with like one shot, one kick to the head, and he's done. And he's gone for the majority of the movie, only to show up later being mind controlled. Not enough for somebody who is supposedly supposed to be the leader of the X-Men. Professor X is Patrick Stewart, of course. I love the scenes he has with Magneto with Ian McKellen. The two of them at that plastic prison, which was a great idea and just looks super cool. But I love them playing chess together. I love that Magneto, who, yes, he's a villain. He's still a villain in this movie, but he's having to almost reluctantly work with the X-Men, work with the good guys, because Stryker is that bad. He's that manipulative. The fact that Stryker even got to Magneto and dripped that acidy thing in his neck and got him to tell him secrets about the Mansion, about Xavier, about Cerebro, and it's great. It's a great way to have two different villains in one movie without having them do the cliched let's team up thing. Like, no, they both have their own agendas. Magneto wants to take care of Stryker, and then there comes a point where Magneto even goes off on his own plan to try to kill all humans. Mystique gets even more to do. Rebecca Romijn, she actually she comes to life as the character. Storm, who I was a little hard on Halle Berry with the first movie, but she ditched the accent, so that's a plus. And she does get some cool scenes to do, some cool usage of her powers with the thunder and rain. Like, there's really good moments with her, so I give her a pass. Rogue, Bobby, and Pyro. I like that the three of them, because they're all teenagers, because they're the youngest, you see them having to go off and go to Bobby's house, deal with his parents, which I love how that scene is like an allegory for a teenager who has to come out of the closet. The X-Men was always a good connection, a good through line for gays and having to deal with society. I love that you can have those subtle moments. You can have almost a commentary on society through X-Men, through a superhero movie, but not have it too much in your face. That scene plays out really well. Another one of my favorite scenes is when Pyro gets pissed, when the cops show up and the one cop shoots Wolverine in the head and he starts throwing fireballs at everyone. Wolverine gets some flashbacks, some like really good flashbacks of the Weapon X program, of what happened to him. He finally gets to put the pieces together, and those flashbacks of him on the procedure table, him going nuts, and just the flashes of him with the knives and the blood coming off, and he looks at himself like he's a monster. I love that. And that's all you needed for Wolverine's origin. I never need another movie to re-explain all of that. The vagueness and the whole Stryker, the connection with him and Stryker, that just makes my mind wander and go like, wow, what could it have been like? What could Wolverine have done? Another favorite moment in the movie, and might be the favorite moment of the movie, is the fight between Lady Deathstrike and Wolverine. It's badass. It's awesome. Lady Deathstrike, who doesn't really say anything throughout the movie, doesn't really have to. Kelly Hu, who plays her, looks the part, looks great. That fight is awesome. Just awesome. The fact that it's so lack of CGI, that just makes it a plus. It looks brutal and bare bones, and the moment where Wolverine realizes that she too can heal herself. I have to talk about another favorite moment. This is why this movie is so high on my X-Men list, because there's so many favorite moments, but the ending of the tease of Jean Grey as the Dark Phoenix. Look, they have throughout the movie Jean Grey dealing with her powers, dealing with like if she can control them. It's starting to go haywire. And at the very end, when they're at that damn Alkali Lake and the water's coming in and they can't get the plane to lift, and she makes the choice, the decision to sacrifice herself, to go out there, stop the water, lift the jet, and them, like, everybody is on their game with their acting. The one moment where James Marsden gets to show some acting, and Wolverine, just the heartbreak. The two of them consoling each other, which you'll never see again. Having the fiery bird over the water at the end. It's like, you almost watch that and go, I can't wait to see the next movie and what they do with that. We know where that goes, but still, that doesn't take away from the fact that this singular movie is as great as it is so fun to watch, does still hold up as much as it does, and that's why for me it still rivals as the best X-Men movie that we have today. So guys, Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of X2 X-Men United? Do you love it as much as I do? Is it your favorite X-Men movie? Why? Why not? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!